All right, here we are again, Brother Peter, with tidbits from the Word, and we are on our 14th excerpt in the Bible, in the Old Testament, in chapter 1 of the book of Genesis, and we have come through the age of where God made man and came up through, and now we're up to chapter 6, and in chapter 6 we have some very important things to read to you. The sins of the fallen angels brought down to the daughters of men. The sins of the fallen angels brought down to the daughters of men, and away with the pure Adamic stock. Now there was pure Adamic stock. What is pure Adamic stock? That is pure race. A pure race. Very few of those left. Very few of those left in the world. We have in the United States of America, believe it or not, in the place called Hawaii, we have some Hawaiians. And do you know what? They're pure stock. And they do not mix. They do not mix with other races. They do not mix with other people. They have an island over there that only the purest of pure can walk on that island. And by the way, that's the way it's going to be when we get to heaven. Only the saved man, only the man made righteous through the blood of Jesus Christ is going to be able to walk on those streets of gold in that city. In that great city when God comes and the New Jerusalem comes down, 1,500 miles square, and parks on the earth with foundations, 12 foundations, each one made with one pearl, great gates, great stones, great foundation to 12, built on the 12 apostles, and the 24 elders will be around the table, and there will be a great feast. I don't know how many thousand years that feast will take place, but it's going to be fun. And me, I don't like to sit down when I'm eating at a feast. I like to walk around and hobnob and meet people and talk with them and enjoy myself as well as eat. Fellowship while eating. By the way, in the olden days, a mealtime was a fellowship time where they sat on the couches, laid around and put their hand on the side of their face and their elbow on the couch, were comfortable, and one behind the other, and they jabbered with each other while they ate and enjoyed life. Chapter 6. The sins of the angels and the fornication to do away with the pure Adamic stock. These are fallen angels. And now the devil said, undoubtedly to his trinity, and by the way, the devil has a trinity, and he has there's Lucifer, the devil, there's the, I can't go into him right now, my brain's a little dead, but anyway, he has his trinity, and I don't want to give him credit anyway. So he sent down some guys, and he said, you guys take on the form of men, and I'm going to give you the power to reprocreate even. And so they laid with the daughters. They saw they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. They went by sight. They came down here and they looked around on the earth and they had a choice. They went by sight. And this one said, I want that one. And that one said, I want that one. And that one said, I want that one. And they went by sight and they took them at will, women, and they had children by them. Now there were giants in the earth in those days. Verse 4, look at this. Chapter 6, verse 4. This is after those men, and they had them. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh. Yet his days shall be 120 years. Wow. After those sons of God, those fallen angels came down and messed the blood up, God said, I'm going to cut a man down just to 120 years max. So man was cut down to 120 years to live. And by the way, we're in the 70 range now. And there were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them. The same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. Yeah, they were renowned. They were renowned. You remember now, David slew that giant from the king of Og, that giant over there, and he was an Amalekite, and he was from these giants. He was a descendant all the way back before the flood, meaning that somebody during the flood, one of the ladies that had married one of the children of Noah, undoubtedly had a seed in her that carried the giants over across to the other side of the flood. All right. God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. By the way, let's get something straight. God's not looking down here at your body. God's looking down here at your heart. If your heart is not right, God does not see in your heart as for you for righteousness. He sees you as an outcast, an outsider, as something that belongs to the devil and doesn't belong to him. You are not his child. No more than you would go in a grocery store and see a child misbehave that's not yours, snatch him up and give him a licking. You can't do that. You wouldn't do that, and you'd be put in jail if you did. But you wouldn't do that. But God won't do that either. He's not going to snatch a child up that's not his and give him a licking. Hey, if you're lost, you fall in the devil, and life's hell on earth for you, it's because your father, the devil, is making it that way. Because that's his desire. He has no good. If you serve him, you're not serving somebody that does good for you. You're serving somebody that does only bad for you. Yeah, the devil does not have your good will in his mind. His will is to make you as miserable as possible and make you think you aren't. Wow. He's a deceiver. He's a deceiver. And he deceived me for 30 years, making me think, go out and get, oh, we had a good time last night. Oh, don't talk, my head's hurting, I can't say nothing today. Oh, me. Blah! Oh, me. Oh, yeah, that was a good time, wasn't it? Yeah. No, the devil will deceive you into thinking you're having a good time, thinking you're having a good life. You end up divorced, your children off, your wife off, somebody driving your truck with your shotgun in it, your children in the back seat, and they don't know who they belong to, and they're unhappy. I actually have children in Sunday school class today that are living with a second set of parents, and the parents aren't even their parents, they're step-parents, both of them now. They've gone from parent down to step-parent to step-parent to step-parent, and they're on that second or third set. Hey, it's a sin. It's a sin the devil's brought on. It is horrendously wicked. Listen. All right, let's get back in the book. The lineage of Christ. The lineage of Christ. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and so judgment was passed on the earth. And it repented the Lord that he had made man in the earth, and it grieved him in his heart. And the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created. Verse 7 of chapter 6. I will destroy man that I have created, and every living, creeping thing, every fowl of the air, for it repenteth me that I have made them. God was upset. He was upset. He was hurting in the heart that he had made man, and he had given him this beautiful earth, and he had made it to where man could live forever. He made it where the earth, by the way, would live forever, and still would if he desired for it to. It creates itself. By the way, the best, all you can do, anything you want to, and the best fertilizer in the world is the leaves under the trees. God made it where the tree fertilizes the ground for its own self, and the next year it had more nourishment than it needed, until man came along, raked the leaves up, and destroyed the fruit, food for the root that made the fruit.